On this first one, you see out?
What do you want to do? How much?
No, I wish.
I got gas. How much?
It's the closest thing I can find the water.
You got change? Francine, let me check. Francine, let me check. To confirm it with you.
She's good. I found a empty bottle.
Put it on him and take a picture with this guy.
I check you by the box.
All right.
I'm telling you, I got that fucking that Sicilian motherfucking boys. I want to fucking kill all these cops. I want to fucking make them bite the fucking curb like the fucking guy in American History X.
They're gonna know what they're doing. We'll toss it about it. Whenever that is over, they think they're gonna run like that.
I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack like that.
We're gonna set up a Nazi
It's okay. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
This guy in Montreal. We're here to promote the 100,000 people that came home to just say no to these mandates. And if you know, all of us are on my new app, Friend of Me. That's friendevview.com. It's like Facebook without the censorship. No Facebook jail, no fact checkers, no ban. It's the new. I'm already on there. That's right.
I've asked the big guy to
If someone's gonna kill me, they're probably gonna shoot me with a high caliber rifle, and then it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a vest. It's gonna go right in. That's why they won't do it.
baby.
Again, he signed it, he did.
No, but no, I just want to promote you went on your mission, man, for the wrong reason.
100%. So many people do.
Yeah, we had a question. You know when we were walking one time and my shit was there.
Yeah, you were like little thing that day.
It's the only guy you know I like because he's talking against what's going on. So what do you have against Mexico?
Maxime Bernier is only talking against what's going on because he saw that it was going to be politically expedient for his career.
Okay.
He was there to literally hijack the freedom movement of all these wonderful freedom fighters that wanted freedom, and he wanted to take that and turn it into his own political campaign.
Okay.
That's it. He was there as the controlled opposition because once a Canadian votes, they believe they did their part. They believe they don't have to come to places like this. They believe they can just follow orders and comply. Because they did their part. They voted. And he was never going to have a chance to win in the first place. So it didn't matter who you voted for. The whole election was a scam. The whole election was a distraction so they could implement the vaccine passport. Because it wasn't even time for an election. Who calls an election the same month as they're passing the biggest federal law in the history of our country? It was all for distraction. And Bernier was a politician. He was a generational politician. His daddy was a politician. Bernier was in the Conservative Party for like 15 years. He was also the person responsible for trying to get us on the seat on the UN Security Council. This is a guy who says he's an anti-globalist, trying to expand us into the UN and expand the UN in Canada. Then he gave over $500 million of our tax dollars to Haiti when Haiti was having that earthquake. His daddy just happened to be the ambassador to Haiti for like 15 years.
Oh, no.
So I wonder how much of that money went back into his own pocket.
That's a lot of.
And this is even worse. This is the worst of all. In 2008, when they were trying to do sustainable development in Canada, that was when Harper was in power. Harper defunded the program. And you saw how unpopular it was with conservatives. Bernier worked with George Soros and the Tides Foundation, which is one of his organizations, to try and implement sustainable development through government policy so Canadians wouldn't even be allowed to vote on it. And then, why did he become part of the PPC? Because he tried to become the leader of the Conservatives, and like everything else he tries, he failed miserably. So once he failed to gain leadership over the Conservatives, he became the leader of the PPC. And they didn't become a freedom party until after the freedom movement became popular.
One more thing.
No problem.
My wife also is always bringing me this thing about corporation. No,
about this corporation. He was like, oh, we don't need to vote because, you know, it's written in capitals and then we're in corporation.
Oh,
you don't
I'm
need to pay
talking
your
about
taxes, blah, blah, blah.
You're talking about common law. You're talking about common law.
That's
Christopher
true.
James, a warrior call.
Yeah.
Common law has legal standing if you can get a group of people like this to back you up and go to the courthouse and say, yes, this is common law and we're going to enforce it, you will win, because they won't have enough people to stop it. Common law can work if the entire people back it up. The problem is, when you go in with just a few people, the government uses their hired thugs. They try to portray you as criminals. They try to portray you as sovereign citizens or all this other kind of garbage that has a negative connotation, and they use the media to demonize you, and then you don't get the support you need. It's like if you try to go do a citizen's arrest on Trudeau. If all these people knew where Trudeau was right now, he was in that building, and we all went there and said, we're arresting Trudeau. Nobody would be able to stop us. The cops wouldn't be able to stop us. It's illegal. We could arrest him. He would get charged with something. He might get off the charges, but they wouldn't physically be able to stop us from arresting him. Meanwhile, if me and you and him went to go try to arrest Trudeau, what would happen? They would grab us, they would throw us to the floor, they would try to make us look mentally ill, and they would charge us with all kinds of crimes. So that's the problem with common law. You need the entire country to unite with it. And if you got multiple countries to do that, then yes, you could enforce common law. And they're trying
Common
to do
law
it.
used to work best when they used to go after their tyrants with torches and pitchforks.
That's right, 'cause that's basically what it was. It was getting common law is basically getting the court of public opinion on your side, so they can't use corruption and tyranny and the courts to make it legitimate. Because when they try to, like, for instance, if they try to legitimize me punching you in the face with the court, but you get a million people going, no, that's not right. It doesn't matter what the court's going to say because the people aren't going to go along with it.
That's why America's not as bad as Canada, because they know many Americans own guns.
That's a huge factor, obviously. That's why they want to get rid of all our guns. They got all the guns on the prohibited list. Now they want to do federal legislation to get rid of all handgun ownership. So then what guns are you going to have left? A couple of shotguns here and there that they'll probably try to outlaw next. So yeah, it's disgusting. And look what happened to Australia. They have it worse than Canada. Why? Because they got disarmed already.
So in that case, you go ahead and you pay your taxes then, unlike what
I
Chris
would,
James.
like, for me, I have a corporation. I've been paying taxes for 25 years. So if I just stop paying my taxes, they could start doing things like messing with your bank accounts. It'll mess with your
You know how
credit.
you know how they're extremely rich get out of paying taxes? They buy property, and then after it's considered untaxable revenue, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just your primary residence.
So then they make the revenue off like basically renters in a kind of way that when you own a lot of property.
Culebra admitted that. They asked me at Culebra, you're talking about housing affordability as one of the biggest problems from the liberal government. And he's like, well, your wife, who's a Venezuelan aristocrat, by the way, she's like super wealthy, her family, they're super connected in one of the most corrupt countries in the world, and that's his wife, who wants to be the first lady of Canada. So that's already scary enough. But they asked him, your wife owns a bunch of different properties within Canada that she's getting untaxable income on, and they're contributing to the housing affordability crisis by owning multiple homes. What would you say about that? You know what he said? He said, my wife is doing a public service by providing affordable rentals for the average person. So they're telling you right to your face that you're not supposed to own anything. You're
biggest
supposed to own
demographic,
everything. And you'll be lucky renting it from
The biggest demographic that pays taxes is the working poor and the lower and middle classes.
This is what I was telling him.
They pay the majority of the taxes. The rich, they find loopholes around it.
This is it. Because he was just audited now, and I'm telling him, you know, it's ridiculous. Anyway.
No. Also, another thing. What do you think about Diddly Do?
Romana Diddly.
Queen Romana Diddly Do. What do you think about that?
Obviously, it's a fake and psyop. You can go right on her website right now, click on the donations page, right? At the bottom, it'll say terms and conditions. Click the terms and conditions of her donations. It says in big, bold letters that all the donations to Romana Didulo go to the Liberal Party of Canada. It says it right on her fucking website.
Everybody's following her
In
like
black and
sheep,
white.
man. Unbelievable. I know. Okay. Well, thank you very much.